Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Swatch Show. This is the Fall-Winter 2024 Quick Dry edition, aka the Paint the Sky collection. And I'm very excited to be here with you today, and it's just me. So let me know what you think about this version, who from the team you'd like to see next on this, and any other thoughts that you might have on this. So here we go. It is 12 new shades of our quick dry polish, which has sold out, if I'm not mistaken, at this point, probably 4 different times. And this is sort of a bookend, sort of second half of the collection that we introduced in summer of 2024, which was the Rise and Shine collection. So this is kind of the sunset goodnight version of that color palette. So let us know what you think about that kind of partner launch as well. So these shades are all kind of inspired by an amazing evening, a fun time out on the town, and the colors all kind of are derived from shades that you'd experience when you're having a fun time with your amazing nails and all your friends. So let's go through the colors. If you've never watched the Swatch Show before, then what you can expect is seeing all the colors in the bottles. I'll show them to you on swatch sticks, and then I'll show them to you as compared to their most similar color cousins in the Olive and June universe, so that as you're making your choices, you know what shades are all about. So starting with just the colors, first shade I'm going to tell you about is Glossed, which is this sheer lavender pink color, sort of like the ideal quick dry lip gloss color, if you will. We have Pepto, which is a sheer peachy kind of color, like a sheer warm peach. We have Torrential, which is this sort of deep gray blue kind of color. We have Bodysuit, which is a dusty teal blue. Cardigan, this is a dusty kind of purpley mauve sort of color. Leotard, hot magenta purple color. The famous mulberry, which is like a berry red, deep kind of burgundy color. For a bit of a caffeine buzz, we've got Espresso Teeny, which is a neutral dark brown. We have Midnight, which is a shimmery blue. Late Night, which is a very deep kind of olive green sort of color. As seen on my nails right now, we have Covet, which is a very deep plum purple color, but as you can see, it almost reads as quite black. And then last but certainly not least, we have Stargaze, which is a inky black base with a sort of shimmery rainbow silver glitter in it. So those are all of the colors. And now we're going to go into the comparisons. And I don't remember what order I put these in, so it will be a surprise for all of us. Okay, let's start with a color that feels quite fall, literally, both in terms of its color but also its name. This is Cardigan. And what I've pulled for Cardigan here are some sort of mauvey purpley colors so that you can see the kind of shapeshifter that this shade really is. So it's the kind of color that when you put it next to a brown, it goes a little bit more brown. You put it near a purple or a mauve, it kind of plays that direction. But Cardigan is that sort of warm, takes the chill off kind of color that is so perfect for this time of year. So shades that I've pulled, I think it's probably the one of the more unique shades in the bunch because there's nothing quite like it. It's got some of that purple of Art Class, but a lot more of the warmth of Fig Ranch. I pulled in Can I Borrow a Sweater because I figured putting it next to a sweater sibling would make sense. But I think a lot of the warmth of Patron of the Arts makes sense here. True kind of pinky mauve of World Lit. A very special color indeed. So excited to hear what you guys think about this one. Let's continue. Who's next? Stargaze. Okay, this is a unique color as well. Didn't have that many shades to pull next to it because we don't have a true kind of black glitter, but I pulled Obvi because that is a gold that has kind of a bit of a rainbow reflection to it. So I think if you put a little bit of the gold of Obvi glitter into E plus M, you get something close to Stargaze. Speaking of stars, here is Spacey. Spacey is a charcoal shimmer, so obviously you can tell that Stargaze is more of a true black. And then another deep shade with a bit of shimmer I wanted to bring in too is To Me You Are Perfect, which is that more maroon, deep red with that pink sort of shimmer in it. But Stargaze is that experience of looking up at that night sky that can feel so, so dark. With a little bit of magic of falling stars. And with all these shades, I think we have, I remember the Swatch show when we used to combine so many, like yellow and green were combined because we had so few of them. And now we have so many more that it really gets specific about the kinds of details here and the real nuance in the color. So if you have questions about what some of these shades look like, of course, we're here to offer our swatching assistance. Okay, so Bodysuit is a dusty teal, and what I wanted to bring in were some sort of teals and blues in our lineup. Obviously shades like Blue Canoe, this is more like a true toy blue, and then Jewel Pop is this like nearly neon turquoise color, but Bodysuit has a little bit of that dusty fadedness of Social Studies, and Make a Res is a much more blue leaning teal, but Bodysuit to me is more of like a true teal. Make a Res also has that kind of jelly quality to it, whereas Bodysuit is definitely more dusty, like Yes Please or Social Studies. So a super, super unique color. I'm very excited to hear what our blue queens think about Bodysuit. All right, moving right along. Leotard, a shade that is as fun to say as it is to wear. Okay, Leotard is a hot magenta, pinky purple kind of color. And there are a fair amount of those, but as always, Leotard is different. So I pulled some magenta friends for us to take a look at here. And in quick dry, as some of you may know, sometimes there's quick dry colors that bear a striking resemblance to a shade that already exists in long lasting, and that is because sometimes you love a color but you need it just much faster. So Leotard, when you see it next to something like Wildest and Wild Orchid, those are quick dry and long lasting cousins, but Leotard really stands kind of apart as this sort of intermediate magenta purple, maybe between Biggest Bow and Wild Orchid. TLG is a true dusty purple. Lily Blooms, if it didn't have shimmer, would be pretty close to Leotard, but Leotard is still more purple. And then XOXO just looks like hot pink, straight up, in this lineup. Berries, Again, another quick dry color, looks positively Barbie. Do I dare try to write upside down? Let's see. So again, lots of hot pinks and magentas, but still nothing like Leotard. Okay. Okay, Pepto. Pepto is a tricky one. Dee, if you're watching this, you know. Pepto is a tricky one because despite the fact that it is a sheer color, it definitely reads as more of like a peachy kind of pink, or a peachy color versus a sheer, I should say. So what we pulled are some corally peachy colors to sort of show you what kind of peach Pepto is, but then also wanted to bring some of our more pigmented sheers, because Pepto is definitely more of a pigmented color, I would say. Sometimes a shade like CCT, one coat of CCT almost looks quite clear, looks like a clear coat, but Pepto definitely has a lot more pigment in it, the way that Buttercream and CHM have a lot more pigment in them. So I would say Pepto is almost like a sheer version of Melon, would be the closest, I'd say. A cool shade to layer with for sure, because it gives that kind of like wash of peachy warmth over whatever you put it over. And we loved that this like orangey glow was so representative of what a sunset can look like when you're looking at it. So here is Pepto. So I think when you see the shade comparisons on our site, if you haven't seen them yet, or on our social media, you'll see that it's swatched against a lot of sheers, because it really is quite sheer. Obviously seeing it over this doesn't really help, but I would categorize Pepto as a sheer before I categorized it as a coral. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, gloss. Probably one of my favorite colors in this whole collection, because I just think it's a shade for all time, truly. So closest, I'd say Passion Fruit Gloss, because it's another sheer lavender. Lavender stems, another kind of milky sheer lavender color. But some other sheers I wanted to bring in. Sandy, it's like a pinky beige. And then my bestie, Strawberry Scone, which looks almost quite white in this lineup. And then Icing is the best part, which is a sheer milky white. But this is the swatch show, so let's bring in some other friends. Another sheer white, which is a little bit more kind of creamy, a bit more ivory, is BEB. And then, ooh, what is a backwards? This is not my, I think that might be super backwards, y'all. I don't know. Jacaranda, which is another quick dry color, an opaque lavender purple. But glossed is much pinker than Passion Fruit Gloss or Lavender Stems, which I think gives it this like beautiful like kiss of warmth and pink that warms the whole thing up. My dream lip gloss color, for sure. Okay, oh, the one I'm wearing right now, Covet. Covet it was named for the fact that it was like this absolutely must-have deep plum. It reminds me a lot of SD, which was from our winter 2019, oh my goodness, winter 2019 collection. Another color that reads nearly black when it's on, but I think especially in the light, it has that little bit of plummy, purpley burgundy. To me, SD is much more purple and Covet has a little bit more red. But speaking of deep reds to compare it to, Obsessed looks so much lighter here. And then, to me, You Are Perfect. Burgundy shimmer. Covet has no shimmer in it whatsoever. And if you really wanted to see how dark Covet is, bringing in a shade like SC or even Cozy Up. Finding Your Perfect. Oh my gosh. The chicken scratch is so crazy. But yeah, Covet, it is like, you know, the it shoe or the it bag that's just like stunning, high shine, deep, cool, plummy burgundy color. So rad. All right. Espresso Teeny. Brown is the color for fall, no question. We have some beautiful brown shades here at All the June, but Espresso Teeny is this like, it's slightly warmer, a bit more red, I would say, than some of the other ones you might be familiar with, especially next to Americano or Tip Your Barista, which are other quick dry colors. Not quite as dark as CN, which is another one of those shades from Winter 2019 that almost reads as black when you're wearing it, but definitely not quite as light as a shade like JJ. So in the kind of scheme of browns, Espresso Teeny still feels quite neutral to me. But if you're someone who's looking for something a little bit darker, then Tip Your Barista, but not quite as dark as CN, then Espresso Teeny is gonna be your fave. I have just now dropped one of the Swatch sticks on the floor. What shade? Couldn't tell you. We will be surprised when we get there. Okay, Midnight. There's a lot of very special full circle moments here to Winter 2019, which was one of the first collections that I was here for. Closest would be HJ, because that is a shimmery metallic blue, but Midnight is much brighter. So I'm going to bring in some of our other navy friends to play because that feels right. And then also wanted to bring in LL, which is a shimmery emerald green from Winter 2019. And then also my friend Social Studies. So Midnight is definitely a dark blue, but when you see it next to HJ, again, HJ looks almost black, and Midnight looks so much brighter, almost like, do I have it around here? Oh, yes, I do. Here's Can't Lose. Obviously, it's not nearly as bright as Can't Lose, but it has that glow that Can't Lose has. So. Can't Lose. I know this is going to be so fun for y'all. This is such a fun effect on such a classic fall winter color. Navy blue. Does it get more perfect than that? No. Navy's a neutral. And you add a little bit of shimmer, it's still a neutral, y'all. Okay. Moving right along. Torrential. This is, did we just knock the camera? My goodness, y'all. Okay, this is a bit of an inside joke for all of you besties because you may remember in spring of 2021, we did an April Showers collection, which was a collection of gray shades that were all named for rain adjacent things. So Torrential is kind of a callback to that. We have a fair amount of grays in our universe, but there are way more than 50 shades of gray. There are, I feel like, infinite shades of gray. So Torrential is definitely no exception here. It is a darker gray with a touch of blue. Not quite as slate as Favorite Beanie. Not quite as dark as 100% Chance. It's a shade that will play tricks on you. Scattered Showers looks kind of green, I think, in certain lights. Of course, not as dark as Last Minute Shopping. And then 8W from fall 2019 looks so putty and warm compared to Torrential. Koala looks almost kind of green-gray, more like Scattered Showers. So if you're a gray person, you are going to love Torrential. It's very, very special. Okay, Late Night. This deep sort of olive green is so cool. Team Green, y'all know what to do. There's nothing really like this shade, I don't think. But I will show you some dark green friends. It's like it's actually dark green, but not quite as dark in my mind. I think with greens you can go quite like yellow green, or you can go quite blue green. So it's fun to see how that goes. Where did my, oh my gosh. Put one for you, two for me. There, I think instead of Geometry, because it's so close to Touchdown, I think I'm gonna do, I think I'll do Besties, yeah. Okay. So Late Night is more of like a yellow green, but again, it's so dark that it is not as, obviously yellow as Touchdown, for example. And Into the Trees goes so dark teal. Fiddle Fig and Besties are that kind of true emerald. Late Night has more of that like jelly consistency, whereas One for You, Two for Me is a true opaque kind of cream. But this shade is so cool. It has, I don't know how to say it in a way that sounds more appealing, but like it's this like very deep, like almost like a deep green stone, like a magical green crystal, or like a cool swamp. I think swamps are cool, so I'm gonna use that as a compliment. But it is such a mysterious color. It just screams sophistication, but really it doesn't scream it, it whispers it. So this is one of the more special shades, I think. Okay. Mulberry. Everyone's friend Mulberry, the quick dry shade that launched a million DMs. Let's talk about some other deep reds in our universe. Okay, so we know finding your perfect red is important, which is why we will not stop until we found your perfect red. So if you have not yet found your moody dark red, perhaps you have found it in Mulberry. A lot of folks were wondering about the difference between Cabernet and Mulberry. Cabernet to me is more purple, slightly darker. Mulberry slightly more red. Good reminder that shades that can look similar in the bottle, actually look very different when painted on the nail. I think you can tell these are both very different when you see them here. Okay, so let's talk about dark reds. These are a mix of quick dry and long-lasting colors, obviously, but mulberry doesn't really have a sibling in long-lasting, I would say. It's like if you made JG much darker, because JG is kind of a raspberry. Cozy Up looks so much more like brown, that brick. Not quite as dark as Obsessed. It's not a jelly like Garnet Glass, and it's not quite as red as SC. So super unique in that respect. Definitely different from Cabernet. So if you see these on shelf, you gotta get both to be sure. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Mulberry. Oh my gosh, we've reached the end of the program, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about this version of the Swatch show with just yours truly. Let us know who you want to see next. I will say, Pebbles, you're not invited to the Swatch show, and frankly, your barks are kind of ruining the vibes. Well, there I go, ruining the vibes. If you were listening to this as an ASMR show, I do apologize. We do have a special guest planned for the next Swatch show. I won't tell you what that collection is of, but we have a special guest planned for that one, who is not someone that you've ever had on the Swatch show before. So stay tuned for that one. Please let me know in the comments what version of the Swatch show you want to see, and what's the first shade of quick dry you're gonna buy? Because these are all, I do think we do fall winter quick dry the best. There's never a shade, because it's such a curated, very well thought out sort of collection of colors that span sort of 2 seasons. I do think we never miss, if I do say so myself. Okay, thanks for watching. Have the best day, all of you.